Good evening. Dunedin City Council staff have come to an agreement with management over their pay structure for the coming year. And to stop work this morning, they voted to return to work when they were told of an agreement worked out between the council and the union on Tuesday. The Telecom building in Dunedin was the site of a picket today. Members of the New Labour Party used a loud hailer and placards to put across a message to New Zealanders to protest at the sale of Telecom. People were invited to sign a petition calling a halt to the sale. Lois Muir might not be the New Zealand netball coach anymore, but she's still a major coaching force in the game. Today she released a new coaching book, and Ken Nicholson was there to find out what's between the covers.
It's a book designed to suit those on the fringes of the game, not only the keen netballer. No one knows more about the game of netball than Lois Muir, but here the most successful coach in world netball has lowered her aim a little to take in not only the elite player, but everyone involved in the game.
We need those people on the sideline. We've got lots of young players out there who just need somebody to care for them. And it'll help teachers and mothers to come back to the sport that they feel they've lost touch with it. But the fathers too, to catch up and the rules and check out what that top international game's about as well. So it's got a lot in it.
For years, Lois Muir has channelled her efforts into the world champion national side. But she's always known that New Zealand netball needs a broad base of players to work from.
These players who read this book will be the New Zealand players of the future. And we've got to have a base there that's nipping at the heels of those top players. I don't ever think they should be there with their bed and blankets in that New Zealand team.
Could I suggest that Lois, the coach on court, may not be there, but Lois, the coach, is still about?
Oh yes, in the background. I enjoy the background work now, and seeing that young talent and giving it a word in the air is my thing.
The giant catamaran, which arrived in Bluff in the early hours of this morning, crossed the Tasman in record time. The Hover Speed Great Britain will now continue on the next leg of its very fast delivery voyage to England. John McDermott with the story.
At the southern end of New Zealand, 1,680 kilometres from Hobart, there wasn't too much to see at 3 o'clock this morning. But dozens of people were there anyway, waiting to greet the Hover Speed Great Britain at the end of its Trans-Tasman dash. No one seems to know what the old Hobart to Bluff water speed record was, and in fact it's probably a record that's never been claimed. Now it has.
Well, we took a few minutes under 24 hours to do the crossing. We averaged 37.1 knots, which incidentally is sufficient to break the Atlantic blue ribbon record when we get to the Atlantic.
That's your big aim as far as speed is concerned, isn't it?
Well, yes, this vessel is capable of getting the Atlantic blue ribbon, and it's not designed specifically to do that, but on the delivery voyage it's a good opportunity.
18 people made the Trans-Tasman trip, but when it's in service on the English Channel, the aluminium catamaran will carry 450 passengers and 84 cars. Its next stop will be Tahiti, followed by Panama and New York, before it has a crack at the transatlantic record.
A $10 million child study, which started in Dunedin nearly 20 years ago, is underway again, except now it's a teenage study. The 1,000 children born at Queen Mary Hospital in 1972 are now 18. They've been tested mentally and physically 9 times, and they're back under the microscope again. Michael Lynch reports.
The pedals are turning with a purpose again, and the volunteers are huffing in this nondescript building tucked away near Dunedin's dental school. For 2 decades, it's been the venue for what's by far New Zealand's most expensive research project, and one that's winning world notice. These teenagers are used to it. They've been going through tests like these since their infant years, and the result is hundreds of research papers on everything from asthma to anxiety, from obesity to obstetrics. For the 1,000 children born in Dunedin 18 years ago, Project Director Phil Silva's something like an uncle, who pops into their lives every 3 years or so.
It's actually the 3rd generation because we really studied your parents a lot and asked them lots of questions about their life and their childhood.
The atmosphere is purposely easy. The research staff, many who've made careers out of the project, go out of their way to get an honest response to what can be searching questions.
How many times in the last month have you been a passenger in a car where the driver was driving within 2 hours of drinking alcohol?
About 3 times, about 4 times. They tell you, no, we're not going to tell anyone what the things that you tell us. But I mean, most people don't like telling people about all the illegal things they've done.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have done illegal things.
We've done the illegal thing.
Oh, that would be telling, wouldn't it? No, you don't like, I mean, you don't go around telling people about illegal things you've done, so you feel strange just sitting there spouting off all your illegal activities to a complete stranger, but...
Would you tell the truth for the survey?
Yeah, I would tell the truth, yeah, as long as I knew it wasn't going to get out.
Because you're just kidding yourself. I mean, why lie?
Why lie about it? I mean, if you've done something, why not own up to it?
Yeah.
If you know it's not going to get out.
Yeah. Do you think most of the people doing a survey like this would tell the truth?
Yeah, I think
Probably,
so.
because it'll probably bring them to think, well, what have I done? And then, you know, they'd just probably like to own up.
Might as well own up, yeah.
It's a bit like the idea of a confessional, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're telling it to somebody that's not going to pass it on to anyone.
Yeah.
You get it off your
Get
own.
it off your chest, yeah.
Greg Brown's a student. Angela and Andrea Stevenson are twins who can't yet find work. Thanks to this study, the hopes and fears of 18-year-olds like them are going to be heard a lot more of in the years to come.
What sort of problems can you see?
Well, it could be like alcohol problems, driving, things. We do studies on that, you know, answer questions about things like that.
Okay, you're 18 now. Have you got any alcohol problems?
No, not now. At varsity, you don't have to have an alcohol problem even if you are at varsity.
Why, does it just come to you?
Yeah, varsity, you drink lots.
Yeah, when you get to about 18, you get this responsibility thing and you realise that you should have a job and all the rest of it. So you try.
So you're going to try and make that big jump?
Yes.
You've been in this study for 18 years now.
Yeah.
Can you conceive of being in it for another 18?
I could probably see it happening, but I suppose we probably would be in it. Yeah. It's just the way it would keep going. So it would help us if we did stay in it. I see that happening.
There's a lot of life stretching out in front of you, though.
It is, yeah. A lot.
The study goes on. The only irony is that Queen Mary, where it all started, has had the chop.
The Dunedin Art Gallery is doing its bit to entertain the children these holidays. It's hosting an exhibition by German artists, which are actually allowed to touch, well, most of the exhibits anyway. Kathy Graham joins some young visitors there.
The 60-odd sculptures are what's known as Kenetic art. They were made in the 60s and 70s by a group of German sculptors experimenting with light and movement. This is one of the most deceptive. It's actually made of rows of black elastic set over a background of lines. The best thing as far as Nicholas, Natasha and Justin are concerned is they're not just there to look at, they actually respond. The way they're displayed and the way they move is what makes the exhibits attractive. Several artists have taken the simple things of life and transformed them. These are curtain rings. These were once letterboxes in a department store. There's something for everyone to get a grip on. And some are so elusive, they're just impossible to catch. The exhibition starts its New Zealand tour in Dunedin. It's on over the May holidays, and you can touch them.
Very cute children too, aren't they, Mark Price? We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.